Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm here to show you today a fun birthday card I made using the diagonal split technique. Now this technique, the diagonal split, is nothing new. You've probably seen cards all over Pinterest and on different demonstrators and crafters' websites showing their rendition of the diagonal split. Well, today I'm going to show you mine. To make this card, I used Thick Whisper White cardstock, Melon Mambo cardstock, and Daffodil Delight cardstock. And then I coordinated my colors with Melon Mambo ink, Daffodil Delight ink, and Pear Pizzazz ink. Now to make this card, I used the Perennial Birthday Stamp Set. You'll find this stamp set in the Occasions catalog on page 16. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the stamp set. Classic birthday sentiments with beautiful images of flowers and foliage. You'll also see at the top of the page the Perennial Birthday Project Kit. Now this kit does not include the stamp set, but includes everything you need to make 16 birthday cards. Such beautiful cards. Look at the gold accents on these cards. It comes with dapper denim baker's twine and gold satin ribbon as embellishments, and it makes both feminine and masculine cards. They're so beautiful, and they come in a beautiful, sturdy, monthly divided box that is just gorgeous. So you can find that project kit that coordinates with the stamp set on page 16. Now to get started with this card, we have to go over some measurements. We need to have these two panels here, these triangle panels, and then the card base. Now the card base is going to be 4 1/4 by 11 inches scored at 5 1/2. So 4 1/4 by 11 inches scored at 5 1/2. And that creates your portrait card that opens from the bottom. You're also going to need a quarter sheet of an 8 1/2 by 11. So that would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's the same size as the front of your card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the first thing we're going to do is cut these triangles that we need for the front of this card. Hopefully I'll be able to show you close enough on the stamping trimmer how to do this. However, I am going to have very detailed photos on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, where you can see close-ups of the actual marks here. So what we're going to do is take that quarter sheet of cardstock, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece, and we're going to take the top left corner and we're going to put it at a 1/2 inch, at the 1/2 inch mark on the left side of our cutting groove. Okay, so we're going to go to 1/2 inch to the left side of the cutting groove, and we're going to put our finger there. Then we're going to take the bottom right and we're going to bring it over to 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to close our clear ruler guide, and we're going to use the dark blade, and we're going to cut up to the top of our scoring, to our scoring blade. That creates the triangle that we're going to use on the top of the card. Now we're going to leave this card in the same orientation, and we're just going to slide it so that this edge we just cut is on the right side of the cutting groove. And we're just going to slide it over, and we're going to put the top left at a 1/4 inch this time. So the top left is at a 1/4 inch to the right of the cutting groove, and then we're going to take the bottom right corner and we're going to bring it to 3/4 of an inch. So we are at 1/4 at the top left corner, and we're at 3/4 at the bottom right corner, and we are cutting on the right side of the cutting groove. So we put our clear cutting guide back down, and then we cut down using the dark blade, and we have this piece that comes out. So now, as you can see, we have the top part, we have this top portion that'll go here, and this bottom portion that's going to go here. So now we can put our Stampin' trimmer aside. And what we're going to do is take that piece that is the cutout piece that we cut out of the middle, and we're going to put that back on the front of the card. We're just going to place it there because we're going to make ourselves a guide of where we want to stamp. We're just going to take a pencil and we're just going to put some pencil marks on the outside of that piece that we cut out. And then that gives us a pathway that we know that we want to stamp in, so that whenever we make the card, this middle portion is stamped. We won't stamp the whole front of the card. All we need to do is that portion that was cut out. So what we'll do is we'll get out our images. We've got the cute little flower we're going to stamp in daffodil, and then this round flower in the melon mambo, and then these cute little polka dots that we're going to do in the pear pizzazz. And what we're going to do is open up all our ink pads, and what I did when I stamped is I stamped them each separately, because if I would have taken the pink and did the melon mambo like that, I wouldn't have been assured that I would have every color shown on my card. So what I did was I used the melon mambo and I stamped my flower. Then I used the pear pizzazz and I stamped my dots. Then I used the yellow for the daffodil for the flower. So that way each one of the triangles I made had each of the colors in them. So you just stamp right in that pathway where you saw those pencil marks, and that will create that diagonal split that you're going to stamp, that you'll see stamped on the front of your card. Well, the next thing you're going to do is take those two pieces of your card, and they're going to be placed on here. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to stamp on them. So what I did was I used this little cute little leaves here, and knowing that they were going to go on the here, I just took my pear pizzazz and I stamped some leaves right there, because I know my yellow flower is going to go right there, and these leaves are going to come off the yellow flower. Then I took the pear pizzazz again and I stamped them, leaves right there. And then I took the sentiment, birthday cheers all around, and I stamped that using melon mambo. So I used the melon mambo ink and I inked up birthday cheers all around. And I did that at the bottom left corner of the card. And as you can see, we're almost done with the card. But what we need to do is set off that stamped part there. I mean, even this is pretty, just the nice white there. But the way to set it off is to put the melon mambo cardstock there on each of those diagonal cuts. So to do that, I just turned over my triangles and I took some Tombow glue and I put a nice thin line along the edge. It's a nice thin line. And then I took some strips of melon mambo. This is the time you get to use up all those strips you have cut in your scrap box. And you're going to want to make sure that you leave a little extra space on each side of the points, because if you just go straight to the edge of here, you won't have enough room to finish off the border. So you just put your triangle on the one strip, and then you just make sure that your other strip has about the same width so that it's pleasing to the eye. And there you've got those two triangles that are going to be made. And then you just take your paper snips and you just trim them off. And then you just go along the line, the edge of the card there. Snippy, snip, 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 snip. There we go. So much easier to snip from this angle. But as you can see, you need that extra little space that goes past the point. And then you'll snip off this edge. Like I said, it's a little trickier on this side. Okay, so now, as you can see, these pieces of pencil mark, these little pencil marks we made are going to be covered up. So you don't even have to erase them. So then what I did is you could pop these up using foam dimensionals, the lined ones, the straight ones, but I found that it was really nice just to be able to lay it flat. So what I did was put some Tombow glue on the back of that top triangle, and I put it up, lined it up on the top right corner, and then I added some glue to the bottom left corner, and lined it up on the front of the card. And then I've got my diagonal split, and see how nice that Melon Mambo pops out, that it just showcases that diagonal split. And then I just took my flower, my little yellow flower, and I put it right into that diagonal split. I put some dimensionals on the back of it, and I popped that flower in, and you've got a nice simple card, but it is a wow card. Now you'll notice on the two cards that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I added some pearl embellishments, which I think really add to the card. But the reason they ended up there is I had a little mistake. And we all know that a mistake is just an opportunity for an embellishment. So you can make this card by going to my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com, where you'll find all the measurements and all the materials that I used for this card. If you have any questions, you can always email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com or give me a call or text at 724-323-2296. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.